I think a lot about the day that when I'm going to stand before the Lord at what's called the judgment seat of Christ. I lived my life for that day. I want so badly on that day, after the Lord Jesus has examined my life, to be able to hear him say to me, "Well done, you've been a good and faithful servant." But the only way that's going to happen is if I live a life that's pleasing to him now. Well, is there any way to know for certain that you're living a life that's pleasing to God? Well, in Colossians chapter 1, verses 9 to 12, the Apostle Paul writes, "For this reason, since the day we heard about you, we've not stopped praying for you. We continually ask God to fill you with the knowledge of his will through all wisdom and understanding that the Spirit gives, so that you may live a life worthy of the Lord and please him in every way, bearing fruit in every good work, growing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, so that you may have great endurance and patience, and giving joyful thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of his holy people in the kingdom of light." Paul writes and says, if you're going to live a life worthy of the Lord and please him in every way, he said that kind of life will be characterized by four things. He says, first of all, you'll be bearing fruit in every good work. So you'll be fruitful. He says you'll be growing in the knowledge of God. That means that you'll be growing in your relationship with God and getting to know him better. He says you'll be, third of all, strengthened in your faith so that you stay strong and you keep trusting God even through the difficult times of life. And fourth, he says you'll be filled with a joyful gratitude and thankfulness to God. Fruitful, growing, persevering, and joyful thankfulness. When those things are true of your life, he says you're pleasing him in every way and you're living a life worthy of the Lord. And that kind of life is only lived by being filled with the knowledge of his will. Being filled with the knowledge of his will means being controlled by his will. It means that you long to do his will. You're yielded to his will. You're seeking his will. You want to be right in the center of his will. Is that true of your life? That's what we're going to be talking about all this week, so that one of these days when you stand before the Lord, you'll be able to hear him say to you, "Well done, good and faithful servant."